Sometimes you need to act crazy to get your point across. As long as you remain quiet, the walls of Jericho will never fall. Pun intended. Hello, I am Mrs. Tim, but some people call me Crazy Mrs. Tim. At first, I thought I was the problem. I only realized later when it was almost too late. Thank God. I am a Christian, and my husband is a drunkard. Before you continue with the video, don't forget to click on the notification button in order to receive notifications at every new video. Thank you and God bless you. Tim, or Mr. Timothy, was not always like that when we met. Just like most church brothers, he was committed in the affairs of the kingdom. Not only he was a leader, he was always very punctual and diligent in church activities. If commitment was a person, then it was Brother Timothy. We met a month after I joined the church. I wanted to be part of the ushers. From the moment I crossed the threshold and saw one of the ushers smile, I knew I wanted to be part of them. They were welcoming, warm, loving, and so very hospitable. Growing up, I had heard of serving in the church but had never given it much thought. My failed dream of being an air hostess would finally be achieved in the house of God. Brother Timothy was a sub-leader and had to follow me up. We started out cool and everything was going on well. When we started our courtship, we utilized every moment of it. We prayed, went on dates, talked long nights, but never neglected our duties in church. The deal day came when we finally got married and moved into our new house. Tim had gotten a promotion in a new town. This made us cut ties unintentionally with our former church. Firstly, they thought we were rebelling. No one thought to call and find out what we're up to. At first, our independence was exhilarating until Tim started to keep bad company. From the first day they came into our house, I knew they were trouble. Tim started keeping late nights. He started drinking and became inconsiderate about my feelings. This was one of those times I wish we had not cut off from our former church. Shortly after the transformation, Tim became abusive. He would beat me up in his drunken state, hurl insulted me, and blame me for his predicament. At first, I was being the dutiful wife and sucking up his nonsense until he returned one day and beat me up till I passed out. When I recovered, I vowed to never let that history repeat itself. That was marked with the birth of Crazy Mrs. Tim. I had decided to take matters into my own hands. Tim's friend came visiting one Sunday afternoon to take him out for their usual guy time, but I chased them out with boiled water. Knowing his friends would come, I drugged Tim before they did, so he wouldn't see the display I had planned to make. Funny, right? Wait for the best part. Since Timothy has lost his job, I had become the next in line to do the breadwinning in our family. I worked 3 jobs day and night so I could catch up with the financial constraints. But Tim always stole my salary and drank away into the early morning hours. I kept our rent one day with him at home so he could pay while I rushed to work. Work that day was hectic and I only returned at night to a closed door. I went to my landlords to make inquiries only to realize that Tim hadn't shown up with the money. Fear gripped my heart and I thought he had left me. For starters, I complied with the landlord for him to open my door before going in the search of my husband. As usual, he was drunk and ready to pass out. I aided him from there to stand and leave, but I didn't take him home. I took him to a mortuary and paid the attendant to lock him up inside. Timothy woke up 3 hours later to a room full of corpses. Sleep eluded his eyes and drunkenness was forgotten. He screamed for the mortuary attendant to let him out, but instead received beatings. The mortuary attendant beat him up, giving him the impression that, just like the other corpses, forget they're dead and wake up to live, he would be flogged. Tim kept his cool and remained inside the morgue for 3 hours more. The mortuary attendant called me and asked if Tim could be released, to which I agreed. Tim returned home a changed man. I had prepared all of his favorite meals, ran him a warm bath, and was ready to serve him in our marital capacity. It was like 3 extra hours in the morgue gave him time to reflect on his life and the possibility of death without fulfillment. He was broken. The first thing he did when he stepped over our threshold was apologize. I forgave him instantly. How could I not? I missed him. Besides, he promised to work on changing. It's been 6 months since the incident at the morgue, and I can confidently say that Tim has changed. 2 months of therapy and deep spiritual counseling after that time, he got a new job. Tim is now a changed and perfect husband. And to top it all, he has stopped drinking. One time, he was watching TV. A commercial about alcoholic drinks popped up, and he immediately swapped the channel to another one. I almost laughed my lungs out. Not only he does not drink, he doesn't watch anything related to alcohol. Smiling to myself, my craziness paid off. Does it bother me? No. However, I want to believe that our lives are returning to normal. One night, I noticed that my husband was restless. He tossed and turned in bed the entire night till he finally sat up. I turned towards him to ask what was going on when I noticed a very pensive look on his face. "Honey, is everything okay?" I asked. I had this strange dream. I saw myself dining with Pastor Muna and his wife. A little recap. Pastor Muna is the head pastor of the church we had left as a result of Tim's transfer. Could it be that God is telling you something about returning to them? Come to think of it, we have not really had a place of fellowship since we left there. Maybe. But even if that's the case, what do we do about location? We're too far away from there. But God does miracles, I assured him. That night, I managed to get him to sleep. The following day was a Saturday. For us, it's a day of rest. Tim sat upright while I laid my head on his thighs, and we both watched TV. Then his phone rang. He answered on the call, and it was the CEO of the company where he worked. He had just been promoted and could choose the town he wanted to work in. When he ended the call, we celebrated. Not only because of the promotion, but because we could return to our former church and settle our scores. We could return to our services in the house of God without the fear of risking our jobs. That dream Tom had was realized. It was a confirmation to his promotion. End of story.